All right, guys, welcome back to mini-sode series on every single Tuesday here on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast with your favorite host, Misty. And we're back. This is number 16, mini-sode series, A Dose for the Soul, where you get a deeper look into my soul and I share what I am present with. And there's something that's been on my mind. And y'all probably gonna have to maybe take out a pen and a piece of paper or pull out your iPhone or your Android. I mean, do Android have like that little section for notes? Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. I'm an iPhone user. We have notes. Wherever you can to jot some points down if you want. Or just like record this. I don't know. But here's the thing. Ever so often you encounter some leaders who will say certain common things to you, on a daily basis for you to meet your tasks, for you to meet your deadlines and so on, right? And then there's just shit about life. The people just say things. And so I couldn't help but notice that there are things that kind of sort of maybe coincide, kind of like are a match in a sense. And maybe some of you might disagree, but it's been it's been dawning on me and it's been on my mind. So, you know, in the streets, sometimes, in these streets, when people tell you shit or like they're trying to explain something to you, Urban Dictionary would define a specific phrase in more than one way. And we're going to dig into that a little bit because you already know these mini-sodes are supposed to be real quick and snappy, short and sweet, right? Okay. So the phrase say less, people use that phrase ever so often. They've definitely used it with me most of the time, my very close friends, when I'm about to tell them something, but they say D, say less, because they already see my face. They already understand what I'm about to say. And so in situations, oftentimes, when people tell you say less, when you're about to tell them something happened or something's going on or you're about to explain some shit and they hit you with the say less, that's usually pertaining to I understand. You understand what that person is telling you already, where they're coming from. Yes, I am referencing to what Urban Dictionary says because that is usually how we communicate in the streets, right? In other instances, in some situations, people will say less when they don't want to hear you talk your shit, when they're tired of your shit, when they don't want to hear what you have to say, but they're not even going to believe a single thing you're going to say. So as soon as you open up your mouth and you're about to explain, say less. And that's it. They cut you off. So in those two instances, right, you see how the phrase say less is used. Now, in most of you's 9 to 5s, especially those who still have a job, for those of you who don't, keep fighting for your unemployment, please. And praying for all of y'all to have, jobs pretty soon if that's what you're looking for. But nevertheless, in a lot of these 9 to 5s, there is this phrase that gets thrown around, right? When you want to keep your staff motivated, your team motivated, when you want to try and figure out a way to execute a message, to deliver a message in very few words. And that is the phrase, less is more. And I'm sure some of you guys have heard that phrase. I'm sure most of you have. And if you haven't, I'm sorry you've been living under a rock. We're going to define a little bit. And then I'm going to tell you why both of those phrases have been resonating with me a little bit. And they've been kind of like in my mind. And I've just been like over here by my damn self, just analyzing both these phrases, right? So less is more. This is usually pertaining to simplicity, right? Like it's indicating, less is more, guys. Simplicity is usually better. It's defined as simplicity usually being better than elaborate embellishment, right? Sometimes something simple is better than something so advanced or something so dramatic, right? That is where the less is more is coming from. So when we think about that, in any scenario, right? And I say it, it comes to be with the 9 to 5 because it's usually where I've heard that phrase, the less is more. So the reason why this has been coming up is because I've been in several scenarios in the last week and a half, I want to say maybe 2 weeks, where, whether it's been with some of my friends or some just people that I've bumped into, or just like, just chilling, just hanging out, the phrase of say less has come up a lot in different conversations. And so I've been hearing a lot the phrase less is more. And I've been just sitting there and I'm like, this shit is like getting to me. Like both of those phrases, say less, less is more, say less, less is more, say less, less is more. And both have just been like ringing in my ears and in my fucking head. And I'm like, why does it feel to me? Why does it feel to me like both phrases can at times be used interchangeably, not just one pertaining to one type of scenarios or environments and the other to another environment, but also like I feel like both phrases are trying to tell us the same fucking thing. And I don't know if anybody has ever thought about this, but I have in the last 2 fucking weeks. And I'm like, when I sit there and I tell someone, or I've used the phrase say less, it's usually like if you don't have to explain yourself, it's because you've already shown me what you're about or what the situation is about. It's self-explanatory. I don't need you to add the more details. I don't need you to overdo it with an explanation. I don't need you to add your take on it. Say less. It's self-explanatory is right there for me, whether it's something good or it's a bad thing or a bad scenario or a not so good thing, right? And then when you think of less is more, it's the same thing. It's the same thing where I'm being told, or I've had to say less is more. It's kind of like, I don't want to hear all of that, or I don't need to explain all of that. This is what it is. You know, it's right there in front of me. Keep it simple, straight to the point, execute, get your message across. No need to add all these other little details and decorations to elaborate or embellish. And it's the same thing when you think about the phrase, say less. Like, the more I think about Urban Dictionary actually defines say less in a scenario, and it said, it is a scenario where you're tired of someone's bullshit. And the truth is, it does make fucking sense, because it's usually when I've used the whole like say less, like I'm tired. I don't have time for your shit. I don't have time for the explanation. Like, stop it. That's it. But both of those phrases, they ring the same bell to me. And what both of those phrases are basically saying is the proof is right there. The work is right there. Everything that I need to understand, everything that I need to see, everything that I need to make sense out of things, it's all right there. I don't need you to say more than what's already been said or what's already been self-explained, self-shown. It's already been shown. It's already been demonstrated. I don't need you to say more. So say less. I don't need more embellishment, more elaborating, more decor, more attention to detail and adding more detail. Less is more. Sometimes it's the simplicity of things that are very direct and straightforward. Sometimes that is all a person needs to, once again, understand what's in front of them. What is the proof that they need? What is, their purpose and their execution, or their message, or what they're representing, or what is representing them, right? And I couldn't help but just see like the coincidence in my mind as to what those two phrases have meant for me, as to how I've used both those phrases in the different environments and different instances. And in actuality, for me, I've understood both phrases to essentially give me the same messaging. And I have used both phrases essentially to deliver the same messaging. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I don't know if we realize ever so often just how we are in so many different instances and in different environments and with different people and in different situations. And yet from all those situations, from all those instances, we're pretty much learning the same exact fucking thing, or we're pretty much applying our same abilities and our same methods and our same skills, what have you. And let this be interpersonal relationships. Let this be work relationships. Let this be any type of situation. I mean, even in those drastic measures, right? Of fight or flights, and that could look like anything at this point. The world is what it is. And sometimes we find ourselves in certain situations like that, where we can apply certain skills and abilities and methods and practices that we've just been able to develop by ourselves as just humans, right? And how we're able to tackle certain things. And so whether that be it that we're actually doing something physical in an actual action to as a reaction, or whether that be something that we're actually saying, right? And so I just, it dawned on me, and I was just like, just clicking the two. I was balancing the two phrases out. And I'm like, what would life be if I was if I was to go into a conference room, and instead of saying less is more, guys, I'm over here like, say less. Or what would it be in the instance that, I got to check this man because, he's acting up, or he's being an a-hole? Or what if my bitch is getting shit a little twisted? And instead of saying, say less, I'm going to be like, listen, yo, less is more. Like, they're not really going to understand, right? It's ever so often in all these situations that we sometimes do an exchange or a different order of words of how we're saying things. And I go back to this, not always what you say, it's how you say it. But we're still saying the same exact fucking thing. It's just, how does it apply to that situation? Would I say less, or would I say less is more? How am I executing it? And in what instance am I doing that? And so that definitely resonated with me. And it was pretty comical to myself too, because it kind of like just made me reflect. Like, when I'm with my friends, I could say certain things. And then it's like when I'm in corporate America, or when you're in your 9 to 5, or when you're in certain other places, time and the place is key, guys. You have to say it a little different. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys and see if it resonated with any of you. In my opinion, I still think it means the same exact thing. I still think that perspective is everything. And when we look at it, you could totally see how both can mean the exact same thing. I think it's all in the actions. It's all in what they're showing you, what is being shown to you. Self-explanatory. No need to overdo. No need to over-explain. No need to over-embellish. No need to over-elaborate. No need for all of that. There are just some things sometimes that what's right in front of you, as simple as it is, that is all you need to know what the fuck is up. Say less. Maybe this is why I do the mini-sode sometimes, because less is more. And that's that, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in once again to Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast with your favorite host, Miss C. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.